Most men believe that aches, fatigue, and a slow decline in vitality are just the unavoidable tolls of getting older. But what if I told you the real saboteur wasn't your age, but something you trustingly put into your body every single day? A 69-year-old patient of mine, a retired architect named David, came to me in a state of quiet desperation. He was a man who did everything right. He walked 3 miles a day, he ate a Mediterranean diet, he'd even taken up gardening to manage stress. Yet he confessed, "Dr. Carter, I feel like I'm fading. My energy is gone, my nights are interrupted, and intimacy, that feels like a memory." He had a cabinet full of over-the-counter remedies for his minor complaints. A pill for his knee pain, another for allergies, one to help him sleep. He thought he was being proactive. What he didn't know was that he was poisoning his own well of vitality, one seemingly harmless pill at a time. I'm Dr. Benjamin Carter. For more than 2 decades as a urologist and men's health expert, I've dedicated my practice to helping men over 60 navigate the complex terrain of their changing bodies, not with more prescriptions, but with more knowledge. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on one of the most dangerous and overlooked health traps for men in their golden years: the silent damage caused by common, over-the-counter medications. These are the pills you buy without a second thought, believing that if they're on the shelf, they must be safe. But for a man's body after 60, that assumption can be devastating. You've been taught to manage your symptoms, but nobody ever warns you that the very solutions you're using could be the hidden source of your erectile dysfunction, your worsening prostate issues, your brain fog, and your collapsing energy levels. In this video, I will reveal 4 categories of common over-the-counter drugs that are silently undermining the health of millions of men. I'll explain exactly how they inflict their damage and give you practical, safer alternatives to reclaim your health. And I urge you to stay with me until the very end, because I will uncover the #1 most popular supplement, marketed directly to men for vitality, that can actually be a confidence killer in disguise, creating problems it promises to solve. This is information your body is begging you to hear. If you are ready to stop guessing and start understanding the true source of your well-being, take a moment right now to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. You won't want to miss the life-changing knowledge we share here. And let me know you're with me on this journey. Type "I'm ready" in the comments below. Your engagement helps this vital information reach more men who need it. Now let's begin with the first and perhaps most common culprit, a pill found in nearly every medicine cabinet in the country, the daily painkiller. The first danger, the just-in-case pain reliever. I'm talking about non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs. You know them as ibuprofen, naproxen, and aspirin. They are the go-to remedy for the morning stiffness, the sore back from a round of golf, the headache that creeps in. They seem like a miracle, and for acute, short-term pain they can be. But for countless men over 60, they become a daily ritual, a habit as ingrained as their morning coffee. And this is where the silent damage begins. I remember Frank, a 71-year-old former general contractor, a man whose hands had built homes, whose body was a roadmap of a life of hard work. He came to see me about his erectile dysfunction, which he'd been blaming on his diabetes and his age. He was frustrated, and a deep sense of shame had settled over him, creating a chasm between him and his wife. As we talked, he mentioned offhandedly that he took a couple of ibuprofen every morning, just to get the engine started, as he put it, for his arthritis. He had no idea he was systematically dismantling the very function he was trying to save. Here's the physiological truth that is rarely discussed on the packaging. NSAIDs work by blocking enzymes called COX-1 and COX-2. This reduces inflammation and pain, but it comes at a steep price. These enzymes are also crucial for producing prostaglandins, compounds that protect your stomach lining and, critically, help relax and dilate your blood vessels. When you take an NSAID, especially daily, you are essentially telling the blood vessels throughout your body to constrict. For a man over 60, whose vascular system is already less flexible, this is a disaster. The fine, delicate arteries that supply blood to the penis are among the first to suffer. Consistent constriction means less blood flow, which directly translates to weaker, less reliable erections. Frank was fighting a battle on 2 fronts. His diabetes was already compromising his circulation, and his daily painkiller was finishing the job. Furthermore, this vasoconstriction doesn't just affect your erections. It can raise your blood pressure, putting a significant strain on your heart and forcing it to work harder to pump blood through a narrowed system. It also reduces blood flow to the kidneys, the master filters of your body. Over time, chronic NSAID use can lead to kidney damage, a silent and serious condition that further depletes your energy and overall health. The emotional impact is just as profound. Men like Frank embody the tough-it-out culture. We're taught to ignore pain, to push through, to find a quick fix so we can keep going. The pill becomes a crutch that allows us to bypass what our body is trying to tell us. The ache in your knee isn't a sign of an ibuprofen deficiency. It's a signal to stretch, to strengthen the supporting muscles, to apply ice, or perhaps to choose activities that are kinder to your joints. By muting that signal day after day, we don't just risk physical damage. We deepen the disconnection from our own bodies. We stop listening. So what is the solution? It's not about living in pain. It's about a paradigm shift from masking to managing. First, reevaluate your use. Are you taking it out of habit or for genuine, significant pain? For chronic aches and stiffness, explore non-pharmacological approaches. Gentle, consistent stretching or yoga can do wonders for joint mobility. Heat therapy, like a warm bath or a heating pad, can soothe muscular aches by increasing blood flow, the very thing NSAIDs inhibit. Cold therapy, or icing a joint after activity, is a powerful natural anti-inflammatory. Second, if you do need pain relief, talk to your doctor about alternatives. Acetaminophen, or Tylenol, works through a different mechanism and does not carry the same vascular risks, though it must be used carefully to protect the liver. For inflammation, natural compounds like curcumin from turmeric or omega-3 fatty acids have shown significant benefits without the cardiovascular side effects. The goal is to see the pill as a last resort, not a first response. By making this shift, you're not just protecting your erections and your organs, you're starting to listen to your body again, and that is the first step toward reclaiming your power. Now, this next danger is even more insidious, because it masquerades as a solution for a problem that plagues millions of older men, and it directly attacks your prostate. The second danger. The clear your head, allergy, and cold medicine. This category includes many common antihistamines, particularly the older ones like diphenhydramine, which is the active ingredient in Benadryl and many nighttime cold formulas, as well as decongestants like pseudoephedrine. A man walks into a pharmacy with a stuffy nose or seasonal allergies, and he walks out with a pill that he believes will bring him relief. What he doesn't know is that he may have just purchased a ticket to urinary misery. I'll never forget George, a 74-year-old retired librarian. He was a meticulous man, and he came to my office with a detailed log of his urinary symptoms. A weak stream, a feeling of not being able to fully empty his bladder, and having to get up 3 or 4 times a night. He was convinced his benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, was getting rapidly worse and that surgery was imminent. He was anxious and sleep-deprived. During our consultation, I asked my routine questions, and when I got to medications, he said, "Oh, just my daily allergy pill. I've taken it for years. Can't live without it." It was like a light bulb went on in the room. Here's the physiological mechanism at play, and it's a word every man over 60 should know: anticholinergic. Many of these older antihistamines have strong anticholinergic properties. This means they work by blocking acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that is vital for nerve cell communication. Think of it as a drying out and slowing down agent for the body. It dries up your runny nose, but it also has profound, unwanted effects elsewhere. One of the most critical jobs of acetylcholine is to help the large, powerful detrusor muscle of your bladder contract to expel urine. When you take an anticholinergic drug, you are essentially paralyzing this muscle. It can't squeeze effectively. At the same time, these drugs can cause the smooth muscle at the bladder neck, right where it meets the prostate, to tighten. So you have a double whammy: a weakened bladder muscle trying to push urine through a newly tightened opening, which is already narrowed by an enlarged prostate. This is the perfect recipe for urinary retention. The weak stream, the dribbling, the constant feeling of fullness. George's symptoms weren't just his prostate. They were his prostate on allergy medicine. He was fighting an uphill battle he couldn't win. The societal context here is one of convenience. We want a single pill to solve a problem, and the marketing for these combination cold and flu products is brilliant. They promise to clear your head, stop your cough, and help you sleep all in one dose. But for an older man, this cocktail can be a urological nightmare. Decongestants like pseudoephedrine work by tightening blood vessels to reduce swelling in the nasal passages, but they also tighten the muscle at the base of the bladder, worsening the obstruction. Beyond the bladder, the anticholinergic effect isn't limited to your urinary tract. It affects your brain, too. These drugs are well known to cause drowsiness, confusion, and brain fog, especially in older adults. That mental sluggishness kills motivation, dulls libido, and contributes to that feeling of fading that so many men describe. George wasn't just having trouble urinating. He was losing his sharpness, his clarity, and his nights. The solution here requires a more targeted and intelligent approach to your symptoms. First, for nasal allergies or congestion, switch from a pill to a spray. A steroid nasal spray, like Flonase or Nasonex, works directly on the nasal tissues and has minimal to no systemic absorption. This means you get the relief without the devastating side effects on your bladder and brain. Saline nasal rinses are another excellent, drug-free way to clear out pollen and mucus. Second, if you do need an oral antihistamine, talk to your pharmacist or doctor about the newer, second-generation options like loratadine, Claritin, cetirizine, Zeotec, or fexofenadine, Allegra. These have far fewer anticholinergic effects and are much less likely to cause urinary problems or sedation. For George, the change was life-altering. Within a week of stopping his old antihistamine and switching to a nasal spray, his nightly trips to the bathroom were cut in half. His stream was stronger. He told me with tears in his eyes, "I thought I was losing control of my body, Doc. I didn't realize I was the one causing the problem." He got his nights and his confidence back. This is the power of knowledge. But while we're on the topic of night, let's address another common pill that promises peace but can steal your vitality. The third danger, the guaranteed sleep aid. Insomnia is an epidemic among older men. Worries about health, finances, and the future, combined with the natural changes in sleep architecture that come with age, can make a full night's rest feel like an elusive dream. In the quiet desperation of 2 a.m., reaching for an over-the-counter sleep aid feels like a lifeline. Most of these products, like ZZZ, Quill, or Unisum, contain the same ingredient we just discussed. Diphenhydramine, that potent anticholinergic antihistamine. Men take it for sleep, not realizing they are exposing themselves to the same risks of urinary retention and brain fog, but often in higher doses. I had a patient, Robert, a 68-year-old retired history professor. He was a brilliant man, but he came to me because he felt a cloud descending over his mind. His memory was slipping, his focus was shot, and he had completely lost interest in intimacy with his wife. He felt like a ghost in his own life. He was also taking a sleep aid every single night, believing that getting his 8 hours, no matter how, was the most important thing for his health. He couldn't have been more wrong. The physiological damage of these sleep aids goes beyond just being anticholinergic. They do not produce natural, restorative sleep. Instead, they induce a state of sedation. When you look at the brain waves of someone on one of these drugs, you see a marked reduction in deep sleep and REM sleep. These are the most critical stages for physical repair, memory consolidation, and emotional regulation. Deep sleep is when your body releases growth hormone for cellular repair. REM sleep is when your brain processes the day's events and manages emotional stress. By taking a pill that suppresses these stages, Robert was waking up physically unrecovered and mentally cluttered. This creates a vicious cycle. You wake up groggy and unrested, which makes you feel more anxious and less able to cope during the day, which in turn makes it harder to fall asleep the next night, leading you to rely on the pill again. It's a chemical trap. The emotional and psychological journey of a man struggling with sleep is one of profound isolation. The night becomes a source of dread. The bedroom, once a place of rest and intimacy, becomes a lonely battleground. This desperation makes the promise of a pill irresistible. Society tells us, "You need your sleep," but it fails to teach us how to sleep naturally. We've lost touch with the fundamental principles of sleep hygiene. Robert's low libido wasn't a standalone issue. It was a direct consequence of his manufactured sleep. His body was too tired for desire, his mind too foggy for connection, and the drug itself was actively suppressing the very parts of his brain and nervous system required for arousal and pleasure. He was trading true rest for a counterfeit version, and the price was his vitality. The solution is not another pill, it is the relearning of a skill. It's called sleep hygiene, and it is the most powerful non-toxic sleep aid in the world. First, your bedroom must become a sanctuary for sleep and intimacy only. It needs to be cool, completely dark and quiet. Use blackout curtains and cover any electronic lights. Second, establish a non-negotiable wind-down routine. For at least an hour before bed, there should be no screens, no television, no phone, no tablet. The blue light from these devices directly suppresses melatonin, your body's natural sleep hormone. Instead, read a physical book, listen to calming music, take a warm bath, or practice gentle stretching. Third, create a consistent schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This stabilizes your circadian rhythm. For Robert, the transition was challenging for the first week. But as he committed to the routine, something miraculous happened. He started to fall asleep on his own. He began to have dreams again, a sign his REM sleep was returning. He woke up feeling clear for the first time in years. 2 months later, he came back for a follow-up. The fog had lifted. And with a smile, he told me, "My wife and I are taking a dance class. I have the energy for it now." He didn't just find sleep. He found his life again. Now let's move from the nightstand to the kitchen counter and talk about a pill millions take with their meals, believing it's protecting them, while it may be starving their body of essential fuel. The fourth danger, the chronic heartburn blocker. Acid reflux, or GERD, is another common complaint of aging. The solution for many is a class of drugs called proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs. You know them by names like Prilosec, Nexium, and Prevacid, many of which are now available over the counter. They are incredibly effective at what they do, shutting down the acid-producing pumps in your stomach. This provides immense relief from the burn. As a result, many men stay on them not just for a few weeks, but for years, even decades. They believe they are preventing damage to their esophagus, but they are unaware of the systemic nutritional crisis they may be creating. I had a patient, a man named Michael, 66, who had been on a PPI for nearly 15 years. He came to me with a constellation of vague but debilitating symptoms, severe muscle cramps, particularly at night, a crushing fatigue that no amount of rest could fix, and a general feeling of weakness that had forced him to give up his beloved tennis game. His primary doctor had run tests but found nothing definitive. It was during our comprehensive men's health review that we connected the dots back to that little purple pill. Here is the essential physiology. Your stomach acid is not your enemy. It is a vital tool. You need a highly acidic environment to do two things: sterilize your food, killing off harmful bacteria, and crucially, to break down food so you can absorb essential minerals and vitamins. When you take a PPI every day, you are turning that powerful acidic ocean into a weak, neutral pond. One of the most important minerals that requires strong acid for absorption is magnesium. Magnesium is the relaxation mineral. It is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body. It is critical for muscle function, nerve transmission, heart rhythm, and bone health. A deficiency in magnesium, which is a well-documented side effect of long-term PPI use, leads directly to muscle cramps, weakness, fatigue, and poor sleep. But it gets worse. Stomach acid is also required to separate vitamin B12 from the protein in your food. B12 is the energy vitamin. It's essential for creating red blood cells that carry oxygen and for maintaining the health of your nervous system, including the very nerves responsible for erectile function. Long-term PPI use can lead to a severe B12 deficiency, causing profound fatigue, anemia, and neurological symptoms like numbness and tingling. Michael's body was literally being starved of the fundamental building blocks of energy and function, all because of a pill he thought was helping him. The emotional toll of this kind of creeping depletion is immense. A man like Michael starts to believe his body is simply failing him. He gives up activities he loves, he withdraws socially, and a sense of hopelessness sets in. He sees his vitality slipping away and accepts it as an inevitable part of aging, never suspecting his own medication is the culprit. He is told he is fine, because standard blood tests don't always check for these specific nutrient levels. He suffers in a silent, undiagnosed limbo. The solution begins with a conversation with your doctor. Never stop a PPI cold turkey, as this can cause a severe rebound of acid production. You need a plan to wean off it slowly. Simultaneously, you must address the root cause of the reflux through lifestyle changes. This is the real work. The first step is to identify and eliminate trigger foods, which often include caffeine, alcohol, spicy foods, and fatty foods. Second, practice mindful eating. Eat smaller, more frequent meals and chew your food thoroughly. Do not lie down for at least 3 hours after eating. This allows gravity to help keep stomach contents where they belong. Third, elevate the head of your bed by 6 to 8 inches. You can do this with blocks under the bedposts or a wedge pillow. This simple mechanical fix can dramatically reduce nighttime reflux. For Michael, we created a weaning schedule, and he began a strict dietary protocol. We also supplemented with magnesium and B12 to replenish his depleted stores. The change over 3 months was astounding. The cramps vanished, the fatigue lifted. He called me one afternoon, his voice full of life. "Doc," he said, "I'm back on the court." This is the power you have when you understand how your body truly works. We have now journeyed through the medicine cabinet, exposing the hidden dangers lurking in the most common bottles. From painkillers that constrict our blood flow, to allergy meds that choke our bladder, to sleep aids that rob us of rest, to acid blockers that starve us of nutrients. The common thread in all of these is a story of unintended consequences, of short-term fixes creating long-term problems. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, perhaps even scared by this information. But I want you to see this not as a source of fear, but as a source of incredible power. You now have the knowledge to question, to investigate, and to take control. Your body has been sending you signals all along: the fading erection, the weak stream, the brain fog, the fatigue. You may have been blaming age, but now you can look at your daily habits with new eyes. You have the agency to make different choices, to choose listening over masking, to choose long-term vitality over short-term convenience. Imagine waking up with clear-headed energy, not because of a pill, but because you had a truly restorative night's sleep. Imagine enjoying physical activity without a preemptive dose of a drug that harms your heart. Imagine feeling confident and in control of your body's functions. This is not a fantasy. This is the tangible result of conscious, informed living. It is about honoring the magnificent, complex machine that is your body and giving it what it truly needs to thrive, not just survive. And now, as promised, let's talk about that bonus tip. The single most common trap that men fall into, a supplement marketed with promises of renewed manhood that can be a confidence killer in disguise. I am talking about the vast, unregulated world of testosterone boosters. You see them advertised everywhere online, promising to restore your energy, build muscle, and supercharge your libido. They often feature images of gray-haired but muscular men living life to the fullest. It's a seductive promise for any man feeling his age. I had a patient who was spending over $100 a month on a popular tea booster. He was drawn in by its claims of using ancient, powerful herbs. Yet his energy was still low, and his libido was non-existent. Here is the secret these companies don't want you to know. The vast majority of these supplements do not work. Their primary ingredient is not science, but marketing. They are often filled with a proprietary blend of herbs like Tribulus terrestris, fenugreek, or horny goat weed. While some of these have a tenuous, historical use in traditional medicine, rigorous, large-scale scientific studies have repeatedly shown that they have little to no significant effect on a man's actual testosterone levels. So the first way they kill your confidence is by draining your wallet and giving you false hope. You keep taking them, waiting for a miracle that will never come, all while your real, underlying issues go unaddressed. But the danger can be more direct. Because this industry is so unregulated, you often have no idea what is truly in the bottle. Some products have been found to be contaminated with unlisted substances, including stimulants that can stress your heart or even traces of actual steroids that can shut down your body's own testosterone production and damage your liver. You are taking a massive gamble every time you swallow that capsule. The real path to healthy testosterone levels isn't found in a magic pill. It's built on the foundations of good health. maintaining a healthy weight, as fat cells convert testosterone to estrogen, engaging in regular resistance training, getting that deep restorative sleep we talked about, managing stress, and eating a diet rich in nutrients like zinc, magnesium, and vitamin D. If you are truly concerned about low testosterone, the answer is not to self-medicate with a mystery supplement. The answer is to see your doctor, get a proper blood test, and have an honest conversation about proven, safe, and effective treatments if they are truly needed. Your journey to a more vibrant, healthier life after 60 starts today. It starts with one simple, powerful action, a medicine cabinet audit. Go look at what you are taking, question everything. Ask yourself, is this truly necessary? Is there a safer, more natural way? If this video has opened your eyes and empowered you with a new perspective, please do not keep it to yourself. Share it with a brother, a friend, a partner, any man in your life who deserves to have this knowledge. Let's start a revolution of awareness and break the cycle of silent suffering. Your health is a shared journey, and your engagement is a powerful force for good. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, because my mission is to continue providing you with doctor-backed, life-changing advice tailored specifically for you. Now I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below. What was the biggest revelation for you in this video? Do you have a question about a specific medication or supplement? I read every comment and I am here to guide you on this path. You have taken the first, most important step by seeking knowledge. Now continue forward with courage. Your best, most vital years are not a distant memory. They are waiting to be built, one conscious, healthy choice at a time. You deserve to feel strong, to feel clear, and to feel truly alive.